All right, guys. So today is going to be a very different video than what you guys have seen in the past. Now, you guys know that I'm not just into cars. I'm not just into certain things. I have a lot of different hobbies and a lot of different interests. And one of the things that I've always wanted to share on this channel but never have is one of my favorite hobbies. And you might have already guessed what it is, but if you haven't, I'll give you a hint. I got a pile of stuff here behind me that relates to it. So today we're going to talk firearms. And in this case today, we're going to talk about this pile of stuff. This is all basically one firearm. This is one of my rifles. And I'll say this, I'll disclaim this beforehand. This is really just a scientific passion of mine. I am not a crazy psycho serial killer, so don't think differently of me. I do have weapons for self-defense. This is not for self-defense. This is actually more of a passion of mine. I don't like killing animals. I'm not into hunting or anything like that. This is strictly for a long-range target, and I enjoy doing it because there's a lot of science involved, and I'm going to explain most of it. So let me get all this stuff out, and I'll show you what we got. All right, so here's the basic setup. So for those of you who don't recognize what we've got here, it's custom. I built this myself out of a fully stock heavy barrel Remington 700. So this is caliber .308, and it's a real common hunting rifle. A lot of people use these in hunting. .308 is not a really crazy powerful round, but it is pretty powerful and can be made really powerful. And I'll explain why in a minute. But we're using a Monarch scope on it, as you can see. This is decent glass. It's not necessarily, again, not super high end. I didn't spend $1 million on this setup, but it does the job. It's a really great scope. I shoot out to around 600 yards, somewhere in that range, maybe a little further. It can probably go 1,000 yards, honestly, but at around 600 yards, it's lethally accurate. I'll put it that way. Under 1 MOA with this setup, and I can put them in right on top of each other with this setup. So I know it's a one-shot, hits every single time. Weather is always a thing too that changes. So I have a dope sheet that I keep, which basically is like a record. It's like a diary of different weather conditions, and I have different ammo for those specific weather conditions that I use. And the reason I'm able to do that is because I reload my own rounds. So this box is specifically one type of round that's for a certain type of weather. They have a certain amount of gunpowder in them and a certain weight and profile projectile. So again, you got to choose the right setup for every single weather condition. So if it's a little hot, I'll change to a different one. It's a little colder with lower humidity, higher humidity. There's all kinds of things that can affect where you're going to hit on your first shot. So I have all of that taken care of. This is one box. I have many boxes. Here's another box. This is a different weight and different grain. You can see I've taken some shots already out of this one. This is the most common. This is a warmer weather, but you know, all real nice brass and projectiles. I use Lapua projectiles, and I have really good luck with them. So this setup, like I said, I put this together myself. This is a Bell Carlson A5, like a tactical stock. It's also got a magazine, so you can keep quite a few rounds. And they don't come with this from the factory. It's an option, so you kind of have to do this yourself. But this way, you know, I'm never only taking one shot. It is bolt action, and in case you guys don't know what that means, It is not an automatic or semi-automatic rifle. You have to actually eject each round and put a new one in every time. So quite a bit of work to get this bolt to be very, very smooth. I've done a bit of, I'm going to call it gunsmithing. I'm not a gunsmith, but I've done quite a bit of work to make it really nice. So the action is extremely light, and you can see it just takes very little effort to chamber the next round. So I've also had the barrel threaded at the end so that we can add this compensator. This is called a compensator. And what this thing does is it diverts the discharge power or energy, instead of it coming straight out, which would cause a lot of recoil and it would push the weapon back. This disperses it sideways, so you end up with very little recoil or very little blowback or pushback, kick, whatever you want to call it, from the rifle. So you can stay on target, you can stay really, really stationary, you don't have to worry. And when you're shooting out at let's say, 600 yards, 700 yards, in those long range shots, it does take a moment for the projectile to reach. And you want to stay on target. You want to be able to see through the scope and make sure. And then on top of that, I use a spotter as well. So when you get out to the big range, this is the spotting scope. These are typically used for stargazing or bird watching and stuff like that. But it's extremely effective for long range shooting as well. So I have somebody watching here. They're able to see the target a lot better. Obviously, this is a much larger optic than what's on the rifle. So there's a much clearer and easier to see picture here. It's much more sensitive though. So, any kind of movement or vibration or even the shock wave from the weapon can throw this one off. But if you stay on target with this from, like, let's say 20 or 30 feet away, or even in a different location altogether, and the spotter can watch to make sure that you hit the target or that the target is still, in the orientation you need and nothing else has changed. So that's a really effective way to watch, and it's always good to have a spotter when you're shooting long range like this. So also have this this bag, and this bag is used to rest underneath the weapon back here while I'm shooting. There's a specific position that you're going to put your arms in, and this bag fits underneath, and by squeezing it I can change the elevation tiny bits, and I can also release it to bring it down. So I can use this bag to stay exactly in the same position that I want to be in when I'm taking the shot. The other good thing about being a bolt action is you can shoot this ambidextrously. You don't have to worry so much about shooting only from the left side. So if you're left eye dominant instead of right eye dominant, which I am left eye dominant, I can shoot with both eyes. My right eye is not bad, but my left eye is way better. I can see anything with my left eye. So when I'm shooting out at super long distances, I'll orient myself on the right side of the rifle and use my left eye to look through the scope. And having a bolt action is really good for that, because you don't have anything coming out from the ejection port after a shot is taken. So just another good tip for anyone that's shooting. Get yourself a little beanbag. I made this one, but you can get yourself one of these, a little beanbag, just to kind of keep your smoothness when you're setting up your shot. Just a good all-around setup. So case is pretty similar, or pretty simple rather, and I got my bore snake in here just to run it through. After a few shots, you want to just pull this through it real quick to clean out some of the carbon and some of the stuff, some of the dirt that's in there. Keep your bore nice and clean. I also keep a lot of oil in this thing. That way there's no corrosion buildup or anything like that, because a lot of times these weapons will sit. They might sit in an environment, and you don't want to let them corrode or get dirty. So this is a really nice stock. It's a fully adjustable tactical stock. You can see you can adjust the chin mount or the chin rest. You can adjust the back. You can move it up and down, out, depending on your length, how much you want. Also, this one, I did quite a bit of trigger work to it as well. It has a really nice, super nice. I will verify that there is nothing in there. You can obviously see. But this is a super light trigger. I mean, you can't even see the movement on that. So just a nice, and I know you're not supposed to shoot this thing with nothing in it, but oh well. You can see how much movement there is here. It's literally a glass break. You can't even really see any movement on it. So that's the gist of it. Also have this bipod on the front. This is really nice for shooting off the ground. This is a pretty heavy firearm altogether. This rifle's pretty heavy, so I don't shoot it standing or holding it. I shoot it prone on the ground, and it does its best that way. So here's my shooting mat as well. This is pretty nice to have so you don't get all filthy and nasty if you're out in a bad field. If there's like grass and stuff like that, you can put this down and it flattens it all out, makes it easy to lay on. You can put your rounds in it and stuff like that. But the main point here is this is, like I said, more of the science. I'm into the science. I reload ammo. I like to experiment with different loads, and just I like to really fine hone the science behind it, and it just makes it a much more pleasurable experience for me. So the gun weighs about 14 pounds total. It's not very light, but it wasn't made to be light, so it's pretty hefty, and it's got quite a bit of mass. You can get these chambered in 338. You can get them in much different, bigger, and more powerful round chambers, but this is 308, like I said before. It's a very common, easy to get round as well. So if I ever need to buy rounds, I don't have any loaded, or let's say I'm out somewhere and I run out, I can always shoot off the shelf ammo, and it's not the worst. It's not the end of the day. So hopefully you guys enjoy this. This is just, like I said, I'm kind of experimenting with the idea of showing you guys some of the firearms. Most of my firearms, I do customize for myself. I have some factory equipment, but I like to customize this stuff because to me, it makes it, I don't know, it's more fun. It's not just about the Second Amendment and politics and crap like that. I actually enjoy the science. I like doing this stuff, and I hope you guys enjoy me sharing this with you. And I'll do more. If this video gets good response, I'll do more. I don't think it's going to get demonetized because this is honestly not, I'm not doing anything illegal. I am a licensed licensed carrier for firearms, and I also am not modifying this to make it more lethal in any way, shape, or form, or do anything violent like that. So let me know what you guys think. Thumbs up if you like it, thumbs down if you don't, and leave me a comment. Tell me what you have. Tell me if you've got some ideas that you think I should incorporate, and I'll do more of these for sure. And as usual, I'll see you guys in the next one.